Now that's old-timey.
Welcome back to Old Timey Tuesday. This morning I'm going to share a song with you from 1942. I first heard Pap sing just a small little fragment of this song when I was young, and about 6 months ago I accidentally stumbled upon the original. After I sing it for you, I'll tell you a little bit more about hearing Pap sing it, how he did a few little things differently on the fragment that he sang, and then I'll tell you how I accidentally heard the original. I don't know it really well, so I'll be sneaking a peek over here throughout at the words. But here we go. Let's try that again. Tweedle O Twill, puffing on a corn silk. Tweedle O Twill, whittling wood. Sitting there wishing he could go fishing over the hill. Tweedle O Twill, Tweedle O Twill, don't he look drowsy? Tweedle O Twill, nodding his head. Bet he feels lazy, plucking that daisy, getting the thrill. Tweedle O Twill. Tweedle O Twill, bobbing and weaving. Tweedle O Twill, wading in corn. Taking it easy, out where it's breezy. Better be still. Tweedle O Twill, Tweedle O Twill, swatting at a horsefly. Tweedle O Twill, tickling his nose. Birds of a feather flocking together, getting the thrill. Tweedle O Twill. Tweedle O Twill, puffing on a corn silk. Tweedle O Twill, whittling wood. Sitting there wishing he could go fishing over the hill. Tweedle O Twill. So there is Tweedle O Twill, and Pap one day just kind of sitting around singing, he sang this, and you'll notice that the words are a little different. He sang this, he said, first difference, twiddle, not tweedle. He sang, Tweedle O Twill, puffing on a corn silk. Tweedle O Twill, whistling Bill. Sitting there wishing I could go fishing over the hill. Tweedle O Twill. That's the way Pap sang it. And I said, what's that? He just kind of shrugged. He said, it's just an old song people used to sing. And I said, well, what does Whistling Bill mean? He just kind of shrugged. But it was a song, the way he sang it, he hit a lot more sevens. I'll put links in the description down below to the originals, or to some the original recording and a few other recordings that people made later. But when Pap sang it, everything was kind of a seven. Puffing on a corn silk, he kind of bend that, and then Whistling Bill. That's the way he kind of did all his notes. Now the original, I'll share, and I'll come back to that idea. But the original, one morning, so Granny, her favorite channel to watch, it's called INSP, which I think is short for inspiration, and they show almost nothing but westerns, and she keeps it on that channel most of the time. But on Saturday mornings, there's an infomercial on there that is kind of a money-grubbing preacher, and I'm going to put preacher in parentheses, because if you haven't seen this gentleman, you've never really seen anybody who money grubs like that. I mean, you would almost think it's a satire or a parody. I've seen this gentleman, and I won't call his name, but I've seen him take out $100 bills and rub them on his face and talk about how they're the most beautiful thing in the world, a $100 bill. So his entire infomercial is never really about the scripture or about accepting Christ. It's all about sending him money, and he calls it seed money. And the bigger seed that you send him, the more blessings that you will get. So on Saturday mornings, we steer clear of the INSP channel. Now, she gets a couple of other channels that also show westerns, and one of them on her particular satellite is 248, sometimes also 217. And they show some of the same shows that she likes to watch, like Wagon Train or High Chaparral or Gunsmoke or, oh goodness, The Virginian. That's one of the main ones that, she likes to watch. And those channels, those other channels, not the INSP channel, but the other channels, they're extreme high definition. And it's hard to describe it or believe it because we're talking about mostly black and white. But they almost look 3D. They're so clear. So sometimes on Saturday mornings, until the money grubber guy goes off on the INSP channel, I'll put it on one of those other channels. So that's what I'd done one Saturday morning, kind of back late summer or early fall. And I just kind of woke up. I was getting ready to go and make her breakfast, and just kind of look at the TV, which was already on. And it was already on that channel, the 217, I believe it is. And there was Gene Autry standing outside of a little ranch house or cabin. And there was a man and a lady standing there. And he sang the song for them. He sang it as Tweedle, whereas Pap was singing it as Twiddle. And instead of singing Whistling Bill, he sang Whittling Wood. So I was like, there's where that old song came from. So then I hopped on the internet and I saw that a lot of other people have recorded the song, like Ernest Tubb and Jim Reeves. And they mostly hit kind of a more pure, straight note. Like Whittling Wood, whereas Pap was more like Whistling Bill. So that was a difference. And Pap, he used to, when he was a young kid, he would ride his bicycle over to what's now the intersection of Brasstown Road and Martins Creek Road, and he would hide his bicycle. There was kind of an old vacant building there. He would hide his bicycle. He would get in the car, and he would ride to Murphy and watch movies. And so some of those movies were Gene Autry movies. He may have seen it in that movie. He was born in 37, so let's see, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. He would only been 5, so he wouldn't have been, riding his bike and going to the movies when he was 5. But he probably would have when he was about 8. And that tells you how things are different now. You would never have an 8-year-old kind of go off on their own out the highway and, go 5 or 10 miles away. But it was just a more innocent time, and there just weren't the dangers that you have today toward children. At least not, with any volume. It wasn't a widespread thing. Anyway, so Pap, by the time that movie made it to Murphy, if the song came out in 42, Pap could have heard it, in a movie, or he could have just heard it on the radio or just different people singing it. But back when I heard him sing that fragment, I thought it was kind of catchy, and it was something that would stick in your head. You'd just walk around singing it, Tweedle O Twill, puffing on a corn silk, Tweedle O Twill, whistling Bill. Just something about it, although I thought it was nonsensical, and Pap couldn't explain what it meant either. Now, when you hear the whole song, it's basically a song that's kind of making fun, poking fun of someone who's lazy, who just will kind of sit around and do nothing. And there were other songs like that. Another one would be Bob Wills, I guess, was the first to do it, Roly Poly, about a young man who all he cared about was eating. Tennessee Ernie Ford had one called Little Juan Pedro, which was also about just being lazy, kind of laying around all the time. And when I kind of heard the rest of the song and realized, oh, that's what it's about. And Pap also sang the one line about fishing. He sang it in first person. So when the little fragment from Pap, it was more just like kind of biding my time. Hey, what am I going to do today? I think I'll just go over the hill and go fishing. But then when you hear the whole thing, again, it's third person, and it's about an individual who's lazy. And when I heard all that, I thought, well, Pap's phrase or his word choice there, twiddle, I think makes more sense than tweedle, because you twiddle your thumbs if you're being idle and doing nothing. You don't tweedle them. But according to Google AI, the Tweedle O Twill, was probably kind of a spin-off or a play on Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who of course appeared in the Looking Glass, Through the Looking Glass, Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland, as you may know it. But anyway, just a fun little song there, and just an accidental discovery that I had that Saturday morning of hearing the entire song. But if you're interested, in the description below, you'll be able to hear Jim Reeves sing the song, Ernest Tubb, Gene Autry. You can actually see the very video, the very scene from that movie that I woke up to that morning. I'll put a link down there to that. And then maybe anybody else that I find singing it. So thanks for tuning in to Old Timey Tuesday. This Thursday, Lord willing, we'll have another original song.